Hello there folks, how's it going? JB2K6 here, back once again with something different. Because I fancied doing something different, and it was thanks to Andrew, good old Andy, say hello.
Hello there everybody.
That I even knew this existed, and now I know it exists and I like it, we're going to record it. So, this is basically a visual novel, where you can make some choices a bit later on in the story. But yeah, if you like this video, then thank Andrew, because it was his idea. So yeah, I think we should just get started, eh?
Let's go.
Let's go. Right, new story. Here we go. Working families across Brighton are no doubt issuing a collective sigh of relief today as the legislation for a minimum wage increase of 50 cents passed in Parliament early this morning. This bill comes after public outcry that the majority of Brighton citizens are without enough income, too poor to make ends meet after the recent increase in food prices. The change brings minimum wage for workers working over 40 hours a week to $3.67 an hour, and workers working less to $3.20. Although welcomed by most, there has been stiff opposition towards the bill from foreign investors, primarily those from Gabria. Major Gabrian companies such as Ushco and Norkley have warned that wage increases would hurt Brighton's economy, arguing that the new rate would force more layoffs as they cannot afford many employees. President Barnaby, who has been supportive of the legislation since its inception, retorted that well-fed employees were more productive and reminded Ushco and Norkley representatives that employing a Brighton citizen was still over 16 times less expensive than employing a citizen of their home country. Stocks did, however, take a moderate tumble after the approval of the legislation. President Barnaby assured citizens that the drop should only be temporary and that the markets will begin to rise again after the initial shock has subsided. With this minimum wage increase, Barnaby has finally fulfilled the last of the campaign promises made during his 1523 campaign trial. Whether or not he manages to accomplish his 1527 goals remains to be seen. With that, we conclude our hourly business report. Next up, the latest in entertainment news. Okay, right. This is the lead character. I'm going to be voicing lead, and Andrew is going to be voicing the secondary character, who's right there. That's me.
No, that's not you.
That's not me.
Nope.
And that's not you.
Nope.
Ah. Okay, well, we'll work it out as we go. Without a doubt, I still find it strange. Everything strange, bizarre. Really, if these worlds were nothing like my own, at least then I could appropriately flip out. But no, they're similar. Too similar. I keep slipping into a feeling of normalcy, only to have that sensation of strangeness slap me across the face at the first sign of something weird. There are plenty of weird sights around to do so, too. Like, for instance, these advanced-looking televisions in this decrepit-looking building, which I can only assume is an electronics store. They're the first things I've seen since arriving in this world that actually look somewhat new, fancy even. Up until now, everything has been old, ramshackle, and in various states of disrepair. It makes me feel very nervous. It's just so profoundly disturbing. Will I ever get used to this? I think that I will, some year or decade from now, if my mentor is any indication. Look at him, standing there so aloof, as if this were just another day to him, which, yeah, I suppose it is. Well, what do I know? Nothing.
Alright, Cyrus is going to be me, right?
Yep.
Windsor.
Yes?
What do you think? Don't talk to me like that.
Think about what?
About what we just saw and heard.
Oh. To be honest, I wasn't really thinking anything about it.
Windsor, we've only just started. Please try to focus.
Yes. Yeah, I will. Sorry. It's just... well... I'm still finding it a bit hard to wrap my head around the idea of destructive conflict.
Well, of course. I was the same when I first started out. There aren't that many examples of conflict at all in our world.
Right.
You might even find it surprising that war is actually a word in our dictionary.
Totally.
Yet still. Winter, you'll come to understand conflict very well. Don't worry. After all, you'll be doing nothing but dealing with it.
Lame.
Hey, don't talk like that to me, you little missy. Well, anyway. I can read thoughts, by the way.
Okay.
You read the material on this world, right? It should have been your homework.
It was.
Then tell me what you think.
Perhaps it's time to admit that I didn't spend much of last night reading the material, so much as turning the pages and glancing at them. I was tired and honestly found watching the bubbles in my soda significantly more captivating than the words in those files. The way they merge with each other and crawl up the glass is incredibly pretty.
You're certainly pondering rather hard there, Winter. You must be whipping up a dazzling answer.
Brighton is poor?
That's a fact, Winter, not a thought.
Sorry. What I think is... I think... nothing. Look what I've learned so far in class. Doesn't seem to be particularly applicable to this world, so I'm finding it a bit difficult to care. How can I care anyway? Besides all that, this is also disconnected from me. Plus, it's only my second world, for heaven's sake. I'm still flummoxed by the fact that other worlds exist. What am I supposed to think when they just tossed me into these places? Give me a pat on the back and say, be on your way, merry child. Actually, here's a thought. What kind of name is Brighton? That's a stupid name for a country. It sounds more like a town. The town of Brighton, population 40. Blah. I'll scream blah at Cyrus and any other mentor who questions me like this. I mean, I won't, but I would. I completely, totally, and so would. For now, though, an awkward and wobbling smile is all I can muster. Blah.
Well, whatever. What do you think the next step is?
Alright, call it Winter. Just remain calm and genuinely consider the question. The next thing to do... we need to learn things that weren't given?
Right.
Sir, I couldn't ask my last mentor. Why are the dossiers we get before we come to these places so thin?
Well, it's because they're simply comprised of first-hand information, noteworthy things that mediators have gathered through observation and gleaned from prior trips to the world. You're lucky you even have that much. Sometimes you get sent to worlds that have never been visited before. Let me tell you, it's never fun when a surprise dragon flies out from behind a mountain, but when you realize that the person you've been talking to is really just a convincing projection, or worse, a robot. And once you start going into systems that threaten your definition of what being a world even means, good luck. Then again, only experienced mediators have to deal with such things. You won't be going to any unvisited worlds, at least not yet.
Oh, another question. Why revisit worlds that have been helped? I mean, once order is in place, everything should be fine, right? Cyrus frowns, but his expression seems more complicated than that. Wait, hang on a minute. Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
What?
I thought I was the dude.
Right.
I'm the girl.
Yes, now you get it?
Wow. Yeah. I've kind of been putting a personality to this guy. When in fact, I've got tits. Okay,
Small tits.
yes, very small tits. Cyrus frowns, but his expression seems more complicated than that. I say that because his frown isn't alone. In his eyes there's a glint of irritation, directed at no one in particular.
You thought his name was Winter?
Yeah. As any glint, it's gone in a second, replaced by another thing that I can't quite decipher. Part of me is curious as to what it is, but most of me doesn't care.
Here's the short answer. Because chaos cannot be contained or removed. Although it can be lessened by us, it will rise again over time.
Sir, are you saying there's no point to anything?
No. Chaos is not inherently bad, Victor. It is the means by which all worlds are born and continue, even ours. Furthermore, it is the spark of evolution. It plays a key part in those mutations which allow life to grow and improve itself. However, for life to succeed, there must also be order. It's like how cells must work together, and organs must serve their purpose. You see, a system where chaos is stronger than order is likely to collapse, just as an organism who has succumbed to disease is likely to die. In short, we are not here to eradicate chaos, Winter. We are only here to keep it in check.
Oh.
Anyway, where do you think we should go next?
Well, someplace with a lot of information, I suppose. Allow me to get thinking about such a place. Oh, surprise, I'm done! The answer is so obvious it's insulting. After all, I'd already gone there during my first mediation. The library.
No, that's not... Why would we go to the library? I mean, I get your line of thought. Libraries can tell you a lot about the world's history, and I would bet there are computers there too, considering the world we're in. Unfortunately, that kind of knowledge probably wouldn't be so helpful for this job.
What about scholarly journals? Reliable sources?
No, I think we should find a bar.
Huh?
What is it?
Well, I just had a thought. Are the bars here special, like library bars? I figured maybe you like to drink as you read, maybe.
Winter, stop thinking about libraries.
Sorry.
Bars here should be normal as far as I'm aware. We'll head there because bars are where people go to talk.
Cyrus then turns to walk away as if it's... as if it is the next natural thing to do. Well, it's not. I stand incredulously for 3 full seconds before realizing that we're supposed to move ahead.
Follow me on adventure.
Well, here we are, walking along. Is this a street? I've seen a few vehicles pass us by, so I guess it is. Or I should say that I've heard them, for they have been loud. They're pretty sorry excuses for transportation, though. They have these grotesque metal protrusions out of their fronts, which billow dark smoke and occasionally drip liquid. As if that weren't bad enough, most every frame of these things has looked like a bludgeon team went wild on it. They were such bewildering things that they distracted me from the matter at hand. Cyrus, is he not going to elaborate at all? He just walked off after telling me that people talk at bars. Thanks, Cyrus. I would not have guessed that people talk at places.
You're welcome.
Isn't he supposed to be teaching me? I mean, how can I learn anything with such vague statements? Well, Winter, well. You need to go to the ice cream parlor, Winter, because they sell food, Winter. Well, goodness, how annoying. And hasn't he been annoying since orientation? Pestering me and staring at me, and annoying and unlikable person, this Cyrus with a reputation at that, I hear. I mean, seriously, don't people talk everywhere? Sir, don't people talk everywhere? Isn't that the sort of thing that humans are known for in general?
Well, aren't you snippy?
Oh crap, I just ruined everything, didn't I? I need to stop thinking so much, or I'll let my thoughts slip out. Ah! I shouldn't have said it like that. He's my superior. I bet it'll lower my grade now. Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to be... It's just a bit frustrating when you don't explain yourself properly.
Oh, I thought it was mostly self-explanatory.
Not really at all, sir. Well, maybe it is, but I don't really know anything about bars. I've never even seen the outside of one.
Ah, that's right. We're really not into drinking back home, are we?
I don't know if I would say that. Perhaps not everyone is the same.
Well, bars are generally a place where people go to unwind. And the alcohol loosens their lips, so to speak. They'll talk about almost everything. Themselves, their troubles. And often the root of the problem will involve what is troubling the world's people. It's a useful place to visit. Speaking of problems, what was the issue of the last world you visited?
Pollution. The world was kind of oldish and much less practical than ours. They kept throwing out their stuff wrong and had bad ways of making energy. Their water ended up getting poisoned and a lot of them were sick.
Long-term project, I assume.
Yeah. My mentor had already been working on it for a while before I came. I think it was around 5 months.
That's so. Glad I am assigned short-term projects. It'd be something awful to get stuck with the same problem for nearly a year.
I agree, but I don't know about the way you said that.
How long did you shadow her?
3 days.
Nice. You've never had alcohol, have you?
What? No, sir, I would never. I mean, I'm too young. I stop in my tracks and he stops to turn. His lips then curl up in a kind of oh-ho-ho expression. Oh-ho-hoing at my innocence, ripe to be defiled. It is creepy. I am uncomfortable.
I want to rape you. No, you wouldn't do anything against the rules, would you?
Is that a test? A trick? A challenge? No, sir. I would not. His smile broadens at this, and my discomfort increases.
You know, Winter, each world you visit will have its own laws, its own customs, and its own social graces. You're going to have to learn to make your mind a little more flexible if you want to succeed. I'm going to have you drink some alcohol at the bar.
Excuse me? I don't want to. Besides, I'm underage. It's against the law.
Well, Winter, in many cultures you will be expected to drink, even at your current age. You should be ready for that, and you should know the effects alcohol has on yourself and others.
Why? He's telling me to break the law? Whoa, no, that's completely out of my comfort zone. I probably hate alcohol, even. Right? I do not want to do this. I mean, I know we're in another world, so it's not really the law, but... No, this is my conviction. I was born and raised to a set of rules, and I think it would be best to live by them. It's like what I learned in class. One might think it best to try absorbing all aspects of cultures met, however, it is not advisable. In absorbing a culture, you run the risk of becoming absorbed by the culture as well. Mediators should not forget who they are. I am Winter Harrison. I will not be shaken by this. I don't think I can do that, sir.
Winter. That's an order. This is part of your training. If you do not drink alcohol at the bar, I will be forced to fail you.
This guy wants to rape me, doesn't he?
Yup.
Why? That isn't...
I'm a dick, I know it. Huh?
That's not allowed. You can't make me do anything.
I most certainly can. I'm your mentor.
Only for today. Only for today, and you aren't always going to be that. Besides, you can't threaten me because Because I have my own convictions and I won't forget who I am. I'm right. I can tell I'm right because my cheeks are flushed, my heart is pounding, and he looks wounded. I hurt him, I struck out against him, and I know he's right, and he knows he's wrong. It isn't just enough that he's hurting inside, though. I need to teach him a lesson. I need to knock it into him. Therefore, I will raise this trembling arm and trembling fist. I will raise it and grit my teeth, and I'll punch him right in his pathetic-looking chest. Ha!
What? Winter, what is this? You're tickling me.
I am rebelling against you.
It tickles. Did you just punch me?
I nod my head quickly and with purpose.
You did?
What does it look like? My fist smashed into your ribs, didn't it?
Well, smashed is...
All of a sudden, my hair goes puff, as if something heavy has lightly fallen on it. I glance up to find Cyrus is resting his hand on my head. Although I know what he's doing, in fact, I just said so, I still am compelled to ask, what are you doing?
Winter, fine, I won't force you to drink.
You mean you can't?
I mean I won't. I will, however, put forward a stern suggestion. It would be very wise of you to drink. It will help you ease into the tastes of another place. I know that they're taught you, and I'd be lying I said I ignore what I've learned. Just remember the way it's worked. You're allowed to let yourself go a little. Just don't forget. I haven't forgotten, and neither have you, it seems. But you shouldn't be afraid of stepping outside of yourself, if only for a little while. In a sense, that's what you're doing already in being here. So I urge you, Winter. Have a pint.
A pint.
Pint. It's the same thing.
I'll... just a little.
Good enough. Well, there's a bar. Come on, Winter.
That's a bar? What makes it any different from the other stores? It looks just the same from outside. They don't seem to pride themselves on distinction out here. I run my hand through my hair and grimace. I wonder if since all the storefronts look like this, maybe they're all bars? What a terrible thought. What if this is the culture which loves to drink? Will I be expected to drink a lot? I hope not. Warily, I begin to follow Cyrus. What am I doing? This is so illegal. I wonder if I can report this. Okay, brace for it. No amount of alcohol-tinged breath could be enough to prepare me for a bar's smell. Surely. Mother always talks about how awful bars are and how that's why she only ever drinks at home. Sweaty and piggish and smelling like failure. This can only lead to misery. Slowly, I part the fingers over my nostrils. It doesn't smell at all.
Cut that out, Winter. You look ridiculous.
Hey, leave me alone. I've been misled. Slowly, I put down my hand, but not without glaring at Cyrus. He ignores this, of course, and walks over to an empty table to have a seat. He then pats the top of the chair next to him, inviting me. Well, whatever. I follow his lead, still cautious of this place.
Notice how there's only a few people here, although it's lunch hour? What do you imagine that means?
Most of the people here really like to work.
Or maybe they really have to. Well, it's probably a good thing that this place is so empty. Too many customers might be a bit overwhelming for you. And also make it rather difficult to actually find out anything.
I see. There are only 4 other people in the bar besides us, all of whom are men and thrice my age by the look of it. The 2 who seem to be customers are dressed in rather rough manner, like they walked out of a construction site. I'm not the type to pride myself on appearance or anything, but I actually feel slightly embarrassed for them. They aren't the first in this world to look so deplorable, though. In fact, I'd say that they look fairly good by comparison. Most people I've seen look like they picked their outfits from a pile of rags. Thankfully, the other two, both in uniform, are very presentable. The waiter, or he's probably the waiter, looks rather spiffy, and the man behind the counter is quite cleanly dressed, so this world is not entirely hopeless. But enough about men in clothes. The wall behind the counter is far more interesting. There are two lengthy rows of wildly varying bottles, some round, some square, and some outright peculiar. Admittedly, I am enticed. Only for a second, I assure you, after all. I've been told that alcohol tastes like piss.
Well, I wouldn't know myself. I never tried it.
What? You've never tried alcohol?
No, piss. It isn't the best until you get used to it.
That aside, I've always been told that it makes you act like a twit, causes bouts of forgetfulness, and slowly poisons your liver.
That is true, to a point.
Eventually, you become addicted to it.
Not everyone does, but there's the possibility.
Then, why drink it?
Some people enjoy losing control over themselves, and many love to forget. You'll see for yourself and be able to form your own opinion soon.
I'd rather not. Honestly, I'm more than fine with following the popular opinion. It's often correct, and it's saved me a lot of trouble in the past. While my thoughts wander to safer days, the man who I believe is the waiter comes to our table. Do you want to be the waiter?
Sure.
Go on then.
What can I get you? 2 beers, any brand you'd like. Coming right up.
When he departs, I find myself curious about 2 things. Firstly, I have to drink 2 beers.
No, one is for me.
Why would you want to drink one?
I'm one of the people who enjoy losing a bit of control over themselves.
I would not have pegged him the sort. At any rate, the second thing. What's a brand, sir? Does it have something to do with fire and iron?
Pardon?
Well, we used to brand cattle and other animals with a symbol that would associate them with their farmer, right? That is, if I remember my history. That was with fire and iron, so is this something similar? I'm not saying something stupid, am I? Is it how the alcohol's made, perhaps? Are the ingredients burned in some way before they're officially beer? Maybe with some sort of spiritual symbol? They do call them spirits, after all. There must be a reason for that, right? Why isn't he saying anything? Or it has something to do with real spirits. Like some sort of rite where each batch is brewed in honour of someone who died. I mean, I've read these places can be very strange, and... am I close? Oh, please, let me be close.
No. No, you're not close.
Crap. I should have shut up way earlier. Why'd I ramble like that? Now I look the fool. Honestly, though, I'm a little disappointed. Some fantasy would be nice.
Winter, I'm starting to think you've already gotten yourself drunk off the atmosphere.
Oh, please.
Here you go.
The waiter has returned, bearing 2 tall and thick tankards foaming at the brim. Beer, right? I know more of vodka and wines. One is placed in front of Cyrus and the other in front of me.
Enjoy.
He leaves. I peek over my cup's lip and peer into its mouth. The beverage does not take kindly to my curiosity, bubbling and spitting at me. Ugh. I withdraw with a start. How intimidating. Sir.
Don't be such a baby. It won't kill you. Not yet, at least. There'll be much worse things you'll have to swallow than alcohol, trust me.
Oh, dude, really? It sounds as though Cyrus is perfectly fine with bending over, should the situation demand it. Ingesting things like this, ingesting things worse than this. Allow me to apologise, Cyrus, but I am not a wimp. I know where to draw the line. It's quite the opposite of weakness, really. It's strength. No one's going to be forcing me to do anything I don't agree to. That said, I did say I would drink some of this. Lifting the glass with both hands, I gingerly tipped towards my lips and taking a mouthful. Blah! Oh heavens, I do not want to drink this. I swish the liquid a bit. As it mixes with my saliva, it seems nearly viscous, even. I want to retch. This is simply the worst thing I have ever put in my mouth. Atrocious. It bullies the back of my throat with a sizzling, no, a burning sensation that spread throughout my entire oral cavity. The ordeal lasts less than 10 seconds before I stop drinking and just swallow it.
Thinking.
Sorry, thinking. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Goosebumps ripple across my skin and my eyes water. The beer drains down my esophagus, raising everything in its descent. This is disgusting. Cyrus proceeds to drain half of his glass with a speed rivaling my mother's and an expression just as insensible. It amazes me that he can stomach it, and even more than that, he's willingly subjecting himself to it.
Huh. This is pretty okay, actually. Best I've had in a while.
You're joking. That was worse than what I imagined piss to taste like. And the sensation, everything about it, it's disgusting. Honestly, I find myself at a loss for words here. This beverage is just nasty.
Finish that glass and we'll move along.
I'm not finishing this.
Do it.
Do it. I mock him. Do it.
Don't take that tone. Just finish your glass.
Finished my glass? I let my hands drop with gravity, my cup crashing onto the table. This is what you want me to finish? Then, Cyrus, who I am quickly losing respect for, I will drink this mug and in fact finish it, if you do one thing for me in the future.
Pardon?
It isn't loud in here, Cyrus. I know you heard me.
Well then, what do you want me to do?
Nothing now. The future's not now. Now is the present. The future's later. And I'll tell you then.
You're sure you're not drunk, Winter?
Hush.
Fine. You'll have your way if you'll have mine, Mr. Harrison.
It is a deal you cannot break, sir. With that, I drained my glass in a matter of seconds using a technique I've observed over the years. When I set it down, there is naught but suds.
Look at my face, not bad.
Cyrus is impressed. I am appalled. Oh, this is so nasty. I squeeze my eyes shut and let the wave of warm and trembling feelings wash over me. Ugh.
Mercy, Winter. That was something else. How are you feeling?
I answer him with a stare and a shiver.
Really?
I shake my head. Honestly, now that the wretched experience of an instant is over, I realise I was overacting. While certainly vile, it doesn't seem to be immediately damaging. It looks like it will take more than one beer to impair my judgment. Either that or this stuff's effects are simply delayed. I'm fine, I think.
Ah, you should be.
Yes, I don't really... I realise I might have spoken too soon as I suddenly feel a bit as though I'm glowing. It's not a terrible feeling and I seem to still be myself. All is in order. I don't feel much different at all.
Give it some time. You didn't really drink too much anyway. There usually isn't a whole lot of alcohol in beer.
I've just realised the music has completely stopped. We haven't had anything since we were outside. Is that normal?
Yep.
Okay, right. Wonderful. Both my theories are true. Okay, so what now? Wait. I'll tell you what's now. that is the end of part 1, folks. Thank you for joining us. I'm getting quite into this story. It's becoming quite interesting. I do want to see how these two characters develop. And thank you for joining me, Andrew, and voicing the other characters.
You're welcome, Jay.
Cheers, dude. Right, we will catch you guys a bit later on for part 2. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.